Run.
Well, greetings and welcome to On the Run. You've got Casual Andrew here today. I think I better take the sunnies off. It doesn't work. You've got Casual Andrew here today because I am in lovely, sunny Singapore. And I'm about to go out to dinner with a friend and enjoy myself and have a good time, having put in a hard day's work. So it's great to be here in Singapore after no less than 5 weeks in Australia. And I have visited Marina Bay Sands, and I've visited Resorts World Sentosa. I'm actually staying at Resorts World Sentosa. There they are. And they've been very nice hosts. Little message from you in the hotel room, the usual stuff. If you need any assistance during your stay, blah, blah, blah. And Resorts World Sentosa have these cool little eco water things in their rooms. I mean, they're big on the ecology and the environmental thing. Resorts World and Genting generally. When I was up last year at Genting, Malaysia, similar sort of thing. Anyway, cheers. Well, let's get into the news of the week, and then after that, I'll tell you where I'm headed next. So I better move over here so that Oscar can put the rundown over here, and let's get into it. Okay, well, let's start with Macau. February visitors over 1.59 million, up 143% year on year. That works out to be 57,000 a day. This was a number from DSEC, the statistics department in Macau, which does a very good job, by the way. That's 53% of 2019 levels. So again, we're still running at about half in terms of visitation. The MGTO said that visitor arrivals hit 96,000 on Saturday. Wow. Ricky Hoy, who's the deputy director of the MGTO and a very nice guy, came to the Power 51 year. I sat next to him and chatted to him. Very nice guy. He came out and said that on Saturday, the Saturday just gone, 96,000 visitors to Macau on that day. So that's absolutely the highest daily tally ever since COVID, higher than Chinese New Year or since COVID started, and nearly back to the 2019 average of 108,000 per day. JP Morgan channel checks showed that the Macau GGR daily run rate, they estimated it to be back to 46 million a day US, which comes out to be 16.8 billion a year. Let's call it 17. Look, I did say before COVID zero was got rid of that I thought when they get rid of COVID zero, it would be 12. And that is assuming that the government sort of, how should we put it, negative stance towards Macau, the Chinese government and the mainland Chinese government. And let's be honest, the Macau governments too would stay as it was, but it hasn't. It's eased up a bit. Visas are back. A few other things. There's a bit of money and liquidity in town. So we're up to averaging 17 billion a year. Now, I did say I'd make a call on this in late March. I've been saying that for weeks and weeks now. It is late March, but you know what? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to wait till April. I'm just going to wait until we get the March figures out. But yeah, it looks like 17 billion, 18 billion, 16 billion. Ben seems to think it'll go higher. I'm not so sure, but it's more than the 12 billion number that I was touting. It's maybe 18. So it's maybe half of what it was in 2019 for GGR. Now, what else have we got over here next? You're still in Macau. The average flight capacity is back to 70% of pre-pandemic. The number of destinations is 60% of pre-pandemic at 43, 27 of them from the mainland and 16 international destinations. SJM came out and they are the new sponsor of the Macau Open Golf Tournament. This is a golf tournament that hasn't been held since 2017, but it's now back on the Asian Tour, and SJM will be sponsoring it for the next 3 years. So this is part of this sports push in Macau at the moment for a non-gaming diversification thing. One of the 11 things the government was chasing from the concessionaires, and SJM has come to the party on that one. Let's get over to the lovely Philippines. Well, the biggest news, there's actually quite a lot of news out of the Philippines this week, but one piece of very important news was that the PAGCOR chairman, Alejandro Tengco, came out and said that casino privatization is a quote-unquote top priority. So that conflict of interest within PAGCOR between being an operator and a regulator, they always say there's a firewall down the middle of PAGCOR, but, the conflict is there. Could be over soon, and he hopes to privatize the 42 casinos, 10 of which are under the Casino Filipino brand, and 32 of which are sort of independently branded. He hopes to privatize them. That'll mean less revenue stream for the government, but it'll mean a windfall gain. And then PAGCOR could focus on being purely a regulator, which is probably not a bad thing. Cebu Pacific came out this week and said they have increased their flights in and out of Cebu and Clark. Their flight capacity, they are saying that it will be at 129% of pre-COVID levels by June. So that's just 3 months away. And that's great that they will be they will have blasted through what they were in 2019 and be even higher. And their international destinations will include Taipei, Tokyo, and Hong Kong. And of course, they have a lot of domestic destinations within the Philippines too. More huge news out of the Philippines. Bloomberry has ended the PH Resorts deal. Yes, the Dennis Uy PH Resorts deal. He was building or was building the Emerald Bay Hotel in Cebu. He also has plans for IRs in Clark. This has been talked about for a long time. Bloomberry did take a stake in it. But now they are just saying that they are backing away from that post their due diligence. I think it was very widely known in the Philippines that they were going through a due diligence process and they've decided against it. So what's going to happen to PH Resorts? Who knows? And I'll be going to the Philippines very soon. Maybe I'll try and find out for you. Moving on, Okada Manila. Still a bit of controversy around Okada Manila. They're wanting to end the merger agreement for the US listing, the Jason Ada 26 Capital SPAC. And in fact, they lodged a 103-page counterclaim response in the Delaware Court of Chancery to the claim that 26 Capital has made. And they have said that this is all, no good and that they shouldn't be required to do this. And then in turn, 26 Capital made a statement saying that this 103-page counterclaim by Okada Manila was a desperate litigation strategy to deflect from Okada Manila's own improper conduct. That's what they say. And they say that they will prove Okada Manila wrong at trial in July if it gets that far. I don't have a dog in this race. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know enough about it to make a call one way or the other. Of course, IAG will report to you everything that happens on both sides of the argument, and we'll follow it closely. It's certainly damn interesting, and but may the best man win, and let's see how that plays out over time. And as I say, I'm going to the Philippines in about a week, and let's see if I can find out a little bit more and report back to you about that, or maybe not. It's quite sensitive, obviously. Anyway, let's move on up to Clark. Hann Casino Resort. I like that property, Hann Casino Resort. Dennis Andreaci, which many of you will know. Dennis from Bangkok, has been all over the place, quite a journeyman in the Asian gaming industry, is now officially the SVP of Casino Operations. That was announced this week. Congratulations to Dennis, very deserving. And he's actually been there at Hann for quite some time as a consultant, but it's good to see him officially get in the role now. Sticking with Hann, they secured $166 million US loan for the development of this Hann Reserve that Mr. Hann is doing up there, a luxury golf resort project. Congratulations to him. The Asia United Bank and the Union Bank of the Philippines have done syndicated finance. And this Hann Reserve, this 450-hectare site he's got up there in New Clark City, it's going to have 3 18-hole golf courses. Pretty impressive. A mountain course by Nicklaus Design, a world-famous golfer Jack Nicklaus, of course. A valley course by the South Korean pro KJ Choi, who will be up there in mid-April, I understand, and yours truly might be there at the same time. And Sir Nick Faldo Signature River course as well. So that's great. That's a great amenity, a great offering that will attract a lot of particularly Korean golfers. And good luck to Hann Reserve and Hann Casino Resort. Let's head down to Australia now, where I've just spent 5 weeks in Melbourne, Sydney, what did I do? Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, Melbourne. And up in Sydney, of course, I spoke with Star, spoke with Crown as well. Crown Sydney, visited the lovely Crown Sydney, went over to Adelaide to have a look at Sky City as well. What's going on in Australia? Well, a banking veteran, David Foster, is the new Star Entertainment chairman. He joined the board as a non-executive director in December, and already here it is March, and he's the chairman. He's ex-Suncorp, Suncorp, a major bank in Australia. He replaces the interim chairman, Ben Heap. Bit of a revolving door, the board and even the chairmanship of Star Entertainment. They need some stability, as we've discussed a lot over the last 12 months. The Australian industry's in a little bit of a mess. We're working through it. These properties have got monitors at the moment being found unsuitable to hold a license, and they're working their way through returning to suitability and completely revamping the Australian IR industry. So good luck to David Foster. We wish him well, and hopefully he can help be part of getting Star back on track. Sticking with Star, some more bad news. They've pleaded guilty to credit card chip purchases. 7 charges in Queensland of allowing players to purchase chips using their credit cards, which is a big no-no. They've already suffered 2 $100 million fines, Australian dollars that is, one from New South Wales and one from Queensland. For those of you who are not so familiar with Star, they've got casinos in the Australian state of New South Wales and Queensland. So New South Wales is Sydney. They have the Star at Sydney, which is their flagship property. But in Queensland, they also have the Star Gold Coast, the former Jupiters, and they have Treasury, and that's the big Queen's Wharf development that's going on there with Chow Tai Fook and Far East involved as well from a Hong Kong point of view. Yeah, so they've pleaded guilty, no sentence yet. Gee, hope it's not another 100 million. I'm sure it won't be for that. Let's see how that plays out. But sticking with Star, they've raised another 135 million US, taking the total recent raising to 800 million Australian. So that's a little bit of money in their war chest to work their way through these issues. Still in Australia, let's go to Crown. Well, Crown Perth, the strict limits on EGM betting that were recommended by the Royal Commission have been adopted by the WA government. Boy, it's flavour of the month to do everything in Australia against the casinos. It's really going to reduce the ROI on Australian casinos to maybe, I don't know, maybe half of what it was. Almost all the Royal Commission recommendations have been accepted. They include a $10 limit and $10 maximum bet, Australian dollars that is. So we're talking under $7 US. Maximum bet on slot machines, or pokies as they're called in Australia. Mandatory carded play, so no anonymous play. Preset weekly loss limits and time limits. I mean, where's the fun? Where's the fun for players? You've got to go in and say how much you're going to lose every week and say what the maximum time you'll spend on the machines are. No cash play. Well, it can be cash play, but mandatory carded play. So I think this is really going to reduce the profitability of slot machines in Australia. Anyway, let's move on. Rest of the region, nice little story this week from Vietnam. They're easing the visa requirements to boost their tourism industry. They had 18 million visitors in 2019, but only 3.44 million in 2022, still suffering from the pandemic. This year, they want to get it up to at least 8 million, nearly half of what it was pre-pandemic. It's quite hard to go to Vietnam. Getting visas are difficult, so they're going for more visa waiver countries, longer stays. They're trying to make it easier for tourists to go to Vietnam and enjoy what is a lovely country. Imperial Pacific over in the CNMI over in Saipan, still looking for investors to reopen the casino. It's been bad story after bad story after bad story out of Saipan. Just go to asgam.com and search for CNMI or Imperial Pacific or Saipan, and you'll just see negative story after negative story for the last 2 or 3 years. But the majority owner, Thuy Li Jie, Mandarin name, she's got a 60.69% stake in the property. She did an interview with Mariana's Variety, which is the main newspaper over there. And she said that she had some investor interest to invest some money in the property, but that's waned due to too many bad news. Well, I'm not surprised. And she's blamed that on bad decisions of previous management. Well, who appointed the management? It would be my question. And yes, there have been a lot of bad decisions over there. And yeah, perhaps some of the people running that property over the years have not been top notch, naming no names. Let's move on to the UAE. This is so interesting to me. So Wynn Resorts UAE IR, the site preparations are underway. So this week we had a story. They announced Alec Engineering as the main contractor, and Bauer International, the German company, are doing the piling and enabling works. And the property is going to be open by 2026. So it's only 3 years away. At RAC, I've seen pictures. It's really, really interesting. So we are inside Asian gaming. And yes, the Middle East is Asia when you split the world up into Americas, APAC, and Europe, or Euro-Africa, as we call it. So it is in our zone. So, wow, I'm really looking forward to it. And boy, what a luxurious casino it's going to be. Wynn in the UAE. Can you imagine how wonderful they're going to make it? So I'm quite excited to learn more about that and see how that plays out. And the final thing is just a little thing from IAG. We announced just today being Thursday, it's Thursday evening now, Friday morning for you. We announced our first ever MAD double header. So just a quick explanation. Of course, we've had MAD, Macau After Dark, for 19, 20, 21, 24 years now. And as part of our expansion to make a commitment to the wider region, the wider APAC region, we're taking MAD to Manila. Luckily, Manila also starts with M, so MAD is Manila After Dark, as well as Macau After Dark, and we'll be doing that quarterly, or hoping to do it quarterly, and our first one is at Okada Manila. So we'll be doing that on April 20, and then we'll all be jumping on a plane, flying over to Macau, and doing Macau on April 25, and doing it as a double header. So we're pretty excited about that. All right, well, that's it for this week. I am, as I say, in Singapore. When you watch this evening, I'll be going on a Resorts World cruise up to Malaysia and back, just a quickie for 2 days. Then I'm going down to Cambodia. I'm going to go down to Sihanoukville as well as Phnom Penh. And then on Wednesday, I'm heading over to the Philippines. I'm going to be there for nearly a month. So I'm really looking forward to getting over to the Philippines. I haven't been there since November last year, the Power 50, and I'm going to spend a month there. My plan is to go to the Philippines 4 times this year. Each time I spend quite a lot of time there, maybe around a month or so. So we really want to make a real commitment to the Philippines, do more coverage in the Philippines. Very excited about that. So that's it for this week. We will see you. If you're in Cambodia, drop me a line. If you're in the Philippines and you want to meet up, drop me a line. I'll be in Manila. I'll be down in Cebu. Hopefully, I'll definitely be up in Clark. And that's it for this week. And we'll see you next week. And bye for now. See ya.
Run.